Now we're going to do part two of It's a Small World when my grandparents met. So, at this time, grandparents are married, starting their life out. They're in a struggle. They're poor. They've gotten a farm. They had to make do with this old house that was on the farm, but they love each other, and they're dealing with that wonderful struggle that most married couples go through trying to make it in life. So, lo and behold, grandma's pregnant, first child. So they go to the hospital, and grandpa is so tickled, he gets his first kid. And my grandfather loved kids, loved his kids. The only way you would ever get him riled up is if you touched one of his kids. Now, he didn't mind if you played with the kid, but you know how like some people will go grab a little kid and they kind of toss him and like wee wee or whatever. Someone did that one time to grandpa's kid. It was a bad day. Said he worked too hard to have somebody take a chance of dropping what he created. So that's kind of grandpa's mentality. He wants to protect what's his. But go to the hospital. Grandma's in labor, having a kid, and it was a tough labor. It was tough giving birth, and she ends up developing like a blood poisoning. And they can tell something's going wrong. Blah blah blah. She gets the kid out. Kid's big, appears to be healthy, but he's stillborn. Evidently, the blood poisoning killed this child minutes, maybe even seconds before he made it. Okay. So grandma's crying. First child, terrible. Grandpa's crying. Been looking so forward to seeing this child. Finds out it was a boy. That's what he wanted was a son. There's a nurse there. Nurse grabs that baby just as quick as she can. They didn't want grandma to see it because being stillborn. She takes it to another room. Nurse has a hunch. She takes a needle full of saline and glucose, like sugar water, like you'd feed a hummingbird, and she takes that needle and pops it in that kid's shoulder and dumps that syringe in it while holding her hand across his neck, and she can feel a faint heartbeat speed up. The nurse runs back into the room, tells the doctor, hold on, that baby's not dead, he's just weak, get in here, let's help him. So they go to working on that baby. Baby's fine. Like it's just a struggle. He's in ICU for like a month trying to deal with the effects of this poisoning and stuff he'd been through. But my Uncle Larry is in his high 70s. He's still alive today. Okay. So, Grandpa, they keep Uncle Larry in the hospital for a month, and my grandma would keep things. When I tell you she would keep things, as kids, we were never allowed to be around, even close to her cedar chest where she kept her documents. My grandma still had the original bill where they paid for Larry to stay in the hospital for a month at Charles Parish in Dunn. As best I can remember, it was like $41 for this child to stay in ICU for an entire month. It was a handwritten bill. It was about that long of a ledger. The whole bill was about that tall. And so, anyway, they paid it and were tickled to get the baby home. Okay. So, that's part two. And so, this tells you a really good moral story in life. Grandpa told me this story, and he's like, Glenn, this is why you treat people right. And I go, oh, okay. I'm a little kid. I'm always listening. Everything Grandpa said, I'd listen to him. And so the reason why you treat people right was the girl he went and gave that letter to and apologized. She goes to college. She becomes a nurse. Now you figured it out. She's working in that hospital room that night, and she takes it upon herself to grab that baby, take him to another room, and she finds out her hunch is right. That baby's alive. Now, Grandpa's lesson to me was I handled it with dignity, I handled it with morality, and I handled it ethically. If I hadn't, I wonder if I'd had a child to raise. And I think that's one of the best lessons in life. For me personally, for a lot of people, as I go through all these stories, eventually I'm going to get to the point of stories of business and stuff that I've dealt with, and we'll really open some eyes up on what morality and ethics will do for people. So, but yeah, that's my grandparents. Love them to death. God bless them for who they were. Just good people. Good people.